Go around the rise, say, I'm a Maseta. I should show on vibrations, every bucka. May your mind, buckas, and souls be old. May your omits be sound. May your buckas be leaven of ground. When we keep to the breath, the earth, the mother, the Seon, the soul of Ra guides and keeps us all. Ayanma, I say Ra, the Ma'ed, L-I-E, say El, say I, Christ story chaplain, Tata Amen Ra, Tata Amen Seota Ra, the Sound Messiah. I am my truth awareness, true talk. Going to be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma'el, that's intelligence, Amenology, Ta'al Godu. This is sound logic, and with all that being offered to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice. Today is 1940. This is a continuation of the decoding of the reptile. This is the sound logic calibration, reminding you that your mental health is directly tied to your etheric compass. So if you are not tethered to Ba'am Ra, you're not sound. Now, we decoded the word reptile. Okay, so this means to continue, to plant, parasite, application, maintain the sowing of augmentation in the grounds. That's what it means, peeps. All right, we got R for continuation, P for parasite. This is the big word right here. Till. Till is the hoe. Till is the scythe. Okay, these are major codes for the mow. The mow the ore. Moors. Okay, these are all Draco codes. Okay, so we know reptilian gets their true power through this very word. Okay, this cannot make any sense to be attached, associated to the creature, to the creatures, including the turtle, the crocodile, and snakes, and all of those different forms of reptiles, as we were programmed to know them as. Okay, but if we know that the word reptile means to continue, okay, to sow the earth with virus code, okay, that maintain the artificial life, the IN. Whenever you see Ian, Canadian, Palladian, reptilian, draconian, the I represents the soul, man, and the AN is artificial life. Okay, it's not ON, which is origin. Okay, which is on. All right. So once we recognize that, we can attach that to those creatures. We're going to deal with the creatures first. Okay, so what does the reptile do? Okay, what do these things do? Okay, what they do is they rely on Ra. They rely on the Seon. They rely on what you call the sun. They can't produce their own heat. Okay, that's the main characteristics. That's what they do. Being cold-blooded is not what they are. You are what you do. So they seek heat. This is what lizards do. They seek heat. That's all they do. Whether they're climbing trees or whatever, they're catching heat. Okay, eating is something everything is going to do. So that's not a unique characteristic to distinguish these beings. So we're going to recall them, not rename them, recall them. And this is what I do for you if you allow me to. So come to me for name decoding. Okay? So if anything, we can find out what the code is. Maybe it's agreeable, maybe it's not. But whatever it is, I can guarantee that you've been struggling in life against it. If it's an agreeable code, then you're struggling to disagree. And if it's disagreeable code, you're struggling to agree. That's just the way it works. Okay, it's duality. It's inner combat. Okay? So we can't base their calling on eating bugs or eating anything. Okay, we can't really base their calling on laying eggs because many different species lay eggs. Right? We're looking for something to distinguish, these things by. I'm showing you the process. Okay, so from my experience, what makes these animals unique is that they seek heat, a term called basking. Okay, which is also used by those who cannot produce their own heat, but yet they want to use the word bask. We're taking a lot of things back, people. Okay, the dead cannot call themselves sound. They can't call themselves by sound. Okay, this is why everything is getting digitalized and everything, because they're not going to be speaking and you're not going to be able to speak. Everything is just going to go back to the way it was, but through artificial means, meaning that you're just going to be receiving your command code. So you'll be receiving like a text and it will be translated into a frequency that you will hear as a thought per se, and then vice versa. When you think and speak, it'll be translated into a text that will go out. You understand this, people? We're breaking this code, so this doesn't have to happen unless you choose it to be. You. All right? So let's get started with the formula. So since they are using re, and that is an aspect of Ra, because Ra sustains, it comes up again, it rises again, and again, and again. We're going to utilize this in the fact that they rely on Ra. Right? They rely on Ra. Okay? So, how do they basically absorb the sun? Well, if you're a crocodile lizard, you're laying. Okay? So you're flattening out. Right? You're flattening out. Unless it's, it's in a tree, and a tree is going to have shade. So most of the times you're going to see snake, reptiles, whatever, they're going to be, on the ground, maybe even on a rock. Okay? If it's not overly hot. Okay? They're going to be absorbing all that energy from a stone. Okay? So okay, we have lie. Okay? Lie, why? Because that's what they're doing. They're lying down. Okay? They're no longer upright. So now it's lay. We have re, because they continue to lay. Alright? And what? Add. What are they adding? Ra. Relayed ra. Relayed ras. Re. Lira. If I wanted to short that, I would be re-lira. Re-lira. But relay ed ra is, I just like to do it long form. Relay ed ra. Right? So you'll notice in Ta'angodu that when you recognize and realize and understand Ta'angodu, it tells you exactly what it is. Right? If I were to see this word, or this Amord, then Armordu, I wouldn't know that it replaced the word lizard. I'd only know that something continues to lay and add ra. Okay, so what are they laying? Well, they lay eggs, but they're laying flat. Okay, because flat means they're non-upright. Remember, we removed the I from lizard. Lie, li, right? If you take the R away, you have li. Right? Okay? Reptile. Okay? So, relay ed ra replaces the word reptile. So let's look at the word lizard. Okay, so you have lie. Okay, this is the same thing as a flat sole. Okay, that's what lie means. Okay, a flat sole. Okay, so a flat sole is not upright. So it's no longer a sole because it doesn't have soul. This is soul. Ra. Okay, if you have Ra in you, then you can produce your own heat. You don't need to rely on Ra. Relay ed Ra. Right? I could say relay Ra, but it wouldn't be complete. I could say rely Ra, but it's not the same. This is exactly what these animals do. They continue to lay and add Ra. Okay? So now, in terms of the reptilian, what they want you to believe is the shapeshifter, the draconian. Okay, we already broke the code. We already told you that they can't use this code, or reptile, because what it does, it gives them the command to continue to plant a virus program, okay, into the souls to artificial beings, the eons, okay, the ions. Okay, this is what the till is to maintain the grounds. So this gives them governance, that word till in the code. Okay, the P is the augmentation, the parasite, the application. That is what they're tilling. That is what they're maintaining the grounds with. The grounds is the eons, the ions. Okay, that's me and you. Except for I would be an ion, because I'm real. Okay? Alright? So if you choose to be in the Gregorian calendar and all that kind of stuff, you maintain this code, a reptile code. Okay, and still you relay add Ras, because yeah, you're still relying on Ra. Okay, so anyways, now that we're on that calendar tip, I'd like to slip in that you got to recognize and realize that these draconians, okay, are the Romans that created the Catholic Church and all other religions, Judaism, all of them, Muslim, all of them, and are using first the Julian, then the Gregorian calendar, okay, to control, okay, by force. Okay, and so now you got to see that we've gone from an egregor, because that's what Gregorian is short for, so that means a collective agreement. Okay, you guys created and are under a collective contract under the Gregorian calendar. Okay, so now you have to see the beauty of their bait and switch. Okay, so every solar cycle, there's a new thought line, a new timeline. So I've introduced the Cagador. It's the only counting soul rod tracking system. Okay, sound tracking system. You had this 13-month calendar. I think it's a 366-day year. And you got to basically see the irony of it, because a turtle is in the classification of what we used to call a reptile, what we are now calling a relay Edras. Okay, an Edra. Okay, so you think you're escaping from one and improving yourself, and I already told you that their code is number 1, so if you put 2 and 8 together, that equals 1. Okay, when you put 1 and 3 together, you get 4. That's your cube. That's your box. Okay, you're going from one Draco to another. The only escape is the Cagadora. Okay, so now to properly call these reptilians what they're really called, it's erptilians. Okay, we're spelling that, or we're arranging that, ERPTILIN, erptilian. Okay, the reason why we're doing that, because this breaks their code. This says exactly what they're doing. Okay, this is disguised because they're telling you that they have the authority of Ra. RE is an aspect of Ra. This means continuation. You're continuing under the authority of Ra, because this is what Ra does. It rises. Okay, so they don't have that authority. The rest of the code could stand, because that's what they're doing. Okay, so what they're actually doing is they're bringing things to ash. They're creating Okay, and they replace the with the parasite program. Okay, the T is for thought. The soul is now laid, and now an artificial soul. An Ian. Okay, that's the full code story. That's the truth. That's the sound reality. You also have a term where you can now recognize where it comes from. Usurp. So okay, it has this sound. Earn. Okay, this is ash. You cremate somebody, you put them in an urn. You earn a living. EARN. You earn a living. Okay, so you have the E and you have the R. Okay, member. Everything is so says that you are reverse RE. You're dead. There's no continuation. Okay, that's what the means at the end of every word that has ER. Okay, that's trying to tell you in names, my name, it doesn't matter. ER is telling you in your code that you are not forever. You're not eternal. You're not RE. You are ER. And ER is emergency room. Okay, you don't go in an emergency room unless you're pretty much going, dead, right? You see how it all ties together? Okay, so they're the erptilians. They usurp. Okay, they're the ones who usurp. This is proper. I'm telling you, I'm bringing the code. I told you, I'm the Sound Messiah. I'm doing the works. And you can support me and do the works as well. Okay, these are major codes. Go watch the first video. This video is going to end right soon. Okay? So it's erptilians, and lizards are now called relayed rods. Okay? They're not reptiles. Okay, once again, the code for reptiles is to continue to plant the parasite code into artificial souls and maintain them by them. That's reptilian. Okay, that's exactly what that code says that you're doing, but we're breaking that code because they can't get the authority of Ra, so now they're the erptilians. So now they have to do things under their own power. Okay, and how they do things is you plug out from them by using sound logic. You say what it is, okay, and then you're plugged out. They can't be using you, okay? You understand that? True Talk, Sound Logic. Go to jesus.com and sign up. Support, okay? Go to aminra.com, support. We're trying to build the Mithorian Kagadora and everything else. We need your attention. We need you practicing sound logic into Ungodu. We need your financial support. Okay, if you have any skills out there, graphic artists, computer programmers, whatever it is, start dedicating what you can do for Ra. All right? You understand that? So come, let's check this out. Let's hook up. Let's break some codes. I'm the Sound Messiah, showing you once again that there's levels to this. Okay? There's absolutely levels to this. Nobody else can say this except for the people that are practicing to Ungodu sound logic. You understand that? Let's go. They're the erptilians. Okay, that's what they do. They erp things.